Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of The Wake Up. My name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We have a great show for you. We're going to start, at least, by talking a little bit about the people running who are seeking to oust House leadership in 2020 on the Democratic side. Should be very, very interesting stuff. Have a debate about that also. We're going to be talking a little bit about... We'll talk a lot about that, but we'll also be talking quite a bit about some investigations that are going on, and also, of course, the latest with these deadly mass shootings taking place. All right, so yeah, let's get right into it. We start, of course, with a little bit of breaking news. President Trump issued an executive order late Monday placing a full economic embargo on the Venezuelan government if President Nicolas Maduro and his administration, and warned Russia and China that if they continue to support him, they may never get back the billions of dollars in loans and investments in Venezuela. So that's an interesting threat. Over 150 years, that's the combined amount of time that Democratic Representatives Richard Neal, Nita Lowey, Jerry Nadler, Eliot Engel, and Steny Hoyer have spent in Congress. Now these House leaders preside over four powerful committees. They respectively write the nation's tax laws, control the government's purse strings, launch investigations in the presidential administrations, and help set foreign policy. And the latter, the last person in that list, Steny Hoyer, second most powerful Democrat in the House. Now they're back in their district for the summer and facing primary challenges. In some cases, multiple insurgents are trying to take out Democrats from the left. And you can call it really the AOC effect, this collection of progressive community organizers, activists, lawyers, and veterans and educators. Many in their 20s and 30s are all pretty long shots, and so was AOC, pretty big long shot as well. So, if I was a House Democrat who depended on Wall Street money, wasn't sure about the Green New Deal, I'd really be worried about my prospects this year, said Karthik Ganpathy, a co-founder of Movement Communications, a political consulting firm focused on insurgent candidates. There's such an impressive field of progressive challengers from diverse backgrounds that are taking on corporate-backed incumbents in leadership posts who simply aren't fighting for their constituents. And it's definitely the case that these people are very impressive, but obviously we saw this the last time around. It's going to be a lot to handle because these people have such different moneyed advantages. Like Steny Hoyer, huge name recognition. Like these Nita Lowey as well. Nita Lowey actually is in my district, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, but we're going to be, believe you and me, we're going to be talking, the Washington Post got some quotes from all these incumbents, or not the incumbents, all these challenges. We're going to be going through them little by little here and see how they plan to fight back against this money advantage that they're going to have and this exposure advantage to get their names out there and make the case for why they could be better representatives. Because a lot of these people, they do pretty good cases to make. These are pretty rotten incumbents here that really could have a lot of change. And if they got voted out anyway, or if Alex Morse, if Lindsey Boylan, if they were successful, it could be a big deal. So yeah, Alex Morse versus Richard Neal, Massachusetts' 1st District. The first-term mayor of Holyoke, Mass. wants to take out the Ways and Means Committee chairman who's serving his 15th term in Congress. Morse, the town's youngest and first openly gay mayor, has perhaps the most traditional political record of all the candidates the Washington Post spoke to for this. He says he's running because cities and towns are forgotten and left behind throughout his district, and he also criticized Neal for being too slow at obtaining Trump's tax returns. Yeah, he pretty much says against Neal, it's not just his votes at the end of the day. It's his unwillingness to really lead on number one, holding the president accountable, number two, just leading on issues and values and principles that would actually make a difference in people's lives here in Western Mass and really around the country. Congressman Neal, this is his camp responding here, has always fought to make sure his district gets his fair share and that we're not left behind, whatever. So yeah, Neal... This is his spokesperson. Who of course says Neal's been on the front line of holding the Trump administration accountable. If the front line means pretty much flopping and rolling over when you're asked, or your constituents and a lot of the Democratic base is really begging for you to go and get Trump's taxes, something that people have been wanting for years now, and you say, no, I'm good. All right, let's go to our next comment here. Lindsey Boylan and Amanda Frankel are actually going to be fighting in this. Taking on Jerry Nadler in New York's 10th District. Boylan, 35, is the former New York State official, has raised the most money of any challengers in this kind of list that we talked to here. She ended the last quarter with nearly $250,000 of cash on hand. Frankel worked on Wall Street and later in emerging tech and wanted to promote more change in the community, becoming a community organizer and an activist. And I mean, if you really want to know here, and I'm assuming a lot of my audience does because this is in its description, it's a progressive news show, of course, based on the facts as well. STBN's Progressive News Network. You may want to know who is the most progressive candidate between these two people running to challenge Jerry Nadler in New York's 10th District. By the way, I think Nadler would definitely be interesting to see taken out of there. He is a big-time incumbent, really a representative of Wall Street to a big degree, and has been too deferential, at least in Boylan's eyes, to Nancy Pelosi on impeachment, which is very interesting. So again, they're both seeking to oust Nadler, Frankel, and Boylan. I personally would have to say Boylan's more progressive. She comes out openly supporting Medicare for all. Frankel is not. This is a big deal for me. Neither of them, though, are endorsed by Justice Democrats, but I would have to give the edge to Lindsey Boylan there in New York's 10th District. So Boylan said that, again, Nadler's been too deferential on Pelosi. To Pelosi again on impeachment. This faltering and dithering on impeachment is a good example of why we need a leader and instead we have a follower. Chairman Nadler is focused on talking about standing up to Donald Trump in the same way he should be focused on talking about the issues that matter to people. That is very, very interesting. So Congressman Nadler says he is widely known as a passionate, effective leader who is focused on producing real change. I got to say, out of all these people, Nadler is the probably least bad of these people. I would still like to see him change with Lindsey Boylan, but he's probably the least bad out of these people. Someone who I would definitely like to see change is Jamal just I'd like to see win anyways. Jamal Bowman. He is challenging Elliot Engel in New York's 16th District. Bowman is a middle school principal who spent decades in the education system before founding a school of his own. It's pretty cool. Like AOC, he was endorsed by Justice Democrats, and to me that really means real progressive, real true progressive there. Because, that is kind of the telltale sign of how you know someone. If you're looking any election cycle, look for the Justice Democrats label. Go to justicedemocrats.com, and if you see them endorsed by Justice Democrats, they're definitely a candidate worth supporting or donating to in some way, shape, or form. At least if you want to see more AOCs, more people who are uncorrupted politicians in government. So, anyway, both. Well, he will also be against Andom Jabro. Oh my gosh, I do not know how to say that name. I'm just gonna call him Andom. He is a special education teacher. Which is pretty cool stuff. So like to see that. But both of them have accused Engel, chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, now serving 16th term in Congress, of supporting policies they say have hurt America, both at home and abroad. Bowman lamented Engel's past support of his now controversial 1994 crime bill and has criticized Engel for his vote in favor of the Iraq War. I'm sure Bowman is not in favor of that either. And also challenging him over the military deal, opposing the nuclear deal, and he was not supportive of Trump's endorsement of Israeli sovereignty in Golan Heights when literally oh my gosh, true. I didn't read that correctly. My bad. So he's and Engel and Bowman, I'm sure, are accusing Engel, who's probably one of the worst people in this list of incumbents, of supporting the Iraq War, opposing the Iran nuclear deal, and supporting Trump's endorsement of Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. So, he's awful in the Middle East. He's very, very, very hawkish. And how great would it be to see someone who actually is uncorrupted get in there? That's why you got to support Jamal Bowman if you want to see that. Bowman says Engel is absent at home. It's a pretty compelling message. I live in one part of the district and work in another. I never see him. I don't see town halls. I don't see engagement. I don't see leadership from the front, if you will, is what he says there. I think that's, for a long time, he's never had to worry about that. Engel's never had to worry about that. But in this day and age, when you have this push for change, it's very, very good to see him actually start having to worry about that and possibly get some change going in the right direction here. Wow, I didn't realize how hawkish Engel was there. Engel's recent shift to support impeachment inquiry is not enough, said Andom. I think initially that it was just one of the other things that showed that Eliot Engel really wasn't being a bold leader and taking the necessary stance of that people of the district wanted and the moral right thing to do, not really doing the best. Jamal may not see the congressman. This is Engel's response here. Jamal may not see the congressman because he doesn't show up anywhere where the congressman is. I mean, why does he look out his window and go, I don't see the congressman there? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think he would know. It's a very, very stupid thing to say. All he's got to do is just look up is there any town halls held by Eliot Engel, and if there is, then there is. I just have to process that for a second. Pretty much saying he thinks his spokesman pretty much, Arnold Linhart, is saying he thinks the congressman is not there because he looks out his window and sees he's not there. It's like calling him stupid or something. I don't get it. I don't really get what's going on there. He also defends his voting record. Congressman Engel was elected in 1988 and has been elected every 2 years since, so I guess the constituents like the job he's doing, or maybe they haven't had a better option. In a time like this, you have to look at a congressman's overall record and see where he stood on everything. Can you find something you didn't like? Of course you can. Can you find something you didn't like that he didn't like? Of course you can. So, and again, there's no sainthood in Congress. It's not everyone's perfect. Again, why not give someone else a chance? You've been in there for 18 years, and you got an uncorrupted politician, Jamal Bowman, out there, perfect to support. Over an incredibly hawkish, pro-Israel to the nth degree. I'm not saying it's bad to be pro-Israel, but when you're pro-Israel like that, you're a right-winger when it comes to foreign policy. It's pretty much essentially what he is. I think it's time for someone new. All right, we turn now to Mondaire Jones and Nita Lowey, New York 17th District, my home. The 32-year-old is an attorney who served in the Justice Department during the Obama administration and in the Office of Legal Policy, working on judicial nominations. He characterized Lowey's record as insufficiently liberal, and as seen in her slow embrace of the Green New Deal and her pacifist in favor of the Defense of Marriage Act, the Iraq War, and against the Iran nuclear deal. So she's definitely got some pretty strong right-wing tendencies in there, especially with her votes in favor of Defense of Marriage Act, the Iraq War, and against the Iran nuclear deal. So, also interestingly enough, he criticized Lowey and simultaneously took credit for jumping on the impeachment bandwagon last week, which could be a pretty big deal when you got primary challenges, especially in a liberal district like that district is. And trust me, I could tell you, people are going to be looking for some change there. It's not a specifically. I mean, it's a lot of rich and it's a lot of middle class, a lot of working class there. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mondaire Jones can get anything going there. So finally, we now turn to Michaela Wilkes and Brianna Urbina versus Steny Hoyer in Maryland's 5th District. Wilkes sees Hoyer, the House Majority Leader, currently serving his 20th term, as the face of slow change. I see Hoyer on the wrong side of history at this point. The Affordable Care Act has helped us in regards to health care, but it's not the best we can do. We need a representative that is going to support Medicare for all. We need a representative that's going to support the Green New Deal. We need a representative that's going to work to fix our criminal justice system. So it's very interesting. She says, there's a lot I feel that the majority leader could be doing. What's sad is that he's not. He's not using his leadership to the fullest capacity. So it's a very interesting way, in my opinion, of looking at that. Urbina pointed to a recent Post op-ed, Washington Post, that she says is indicative of Hoyer's problems. He said in there, and I'm paraphrasing right now, that he thought it would be a politically easier way to accomplish the same goals to enfranchising Washington, to enfranchising Washingtonians, and I think this is the problem. Steny Hoyer always thinks that there's an easier way to do things, and both are frustrated by Hoyer that he does not support an impeachment inquiry, sticking with Nancy Pelosi on that one. No surprise. If you want to know who gets my progressive endorsement, I would say it is, without a doubt, Michaela Wilkes is the most progressive person in there. Medicare for all, Green New Deal, Very, 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 very strong stuff. Building worker power in there as well in her platform. So salute to her on that. She definitely would be great to see over Steny